Thank you, Mr. President, colleagues. I want to highlight for you what we've changed on this bill. I will, in full disclosure, tell you I voted against this bill the first time it came to the floor. I had a number of concerns, and I'm going to start with each one of my concerns and tell you how we address them in the amendment. First of all, I was concerned that this was a credit that was just done for one project or one area. And that, as I understand it, was done not because the author wanted it done that way, but because DOR had advised them in that direction. But we've had a conversation with DOR, and then we've also talked to the bill sponsor. And we are replacing lines 19 through 24 in the bill. And what that does is it removes the requirement that this be within a 10-mile radius of Cabbagetown. So the statewide piece of this is now in place. I was concerned with pulling 3 years of credits forward. So we are changing it so that you can only pull forward years 2027 and 2028. I was also concerned that the state would be pulling money forward at a disadvantage to a revenue shortfall in the budget without any sort of financial benefit to the state. So what we are doing is we're saying that if you pull forward 2027 tax credits, you do so at 90 cents on the dollar. If you pull forward 2028 tax credits, you do so at 85 cents on the dollar. As you all know, for the money that we hold in the reserves, we do overnight swaps, a number of other things, and we're earning 4.5% to 5.5%. We have a fixed amount of money on these credits. These credits will be paid out. So if we don't pass this bill, they'll be paid out in 27, and they'll be paid out in 2028, and they'll be paid out at full value, at dollar for dollar. This allows us for the 27s to earn 10% on our money. It allows us for the 28s to earn 15%, both of which would be higher than if we just kind of had the money in the reserve fund and did not use them. So with that, Mr. President, I hope that clears up what the amendment does, but I'm certainly happy to answer any questions.
You do have one question, Senator.
Okay.
Recognize Senator from 38.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Chairman, do you yield?
I do.
I'm sorry, I just missed your explanation for line 3 of the amendment where we're replacing the 3 years with the 2. Can you just explain that one more time? So I was trying to get to the bill, but I wasn't able to.
So the original version of the bill was going to allow an entity to pull forward 27, 28, or 29 tax credits. This makes it so they can only pull forward any credits they have for 2027 and 2028. I'm glad I'm answering your question because I forgot about one other change. The CO now needs to be completed by July 1st of 2026. Yeah. So in the original version of the bill, we talked a lot about the World Cup, or the sponsor talked about the World Cup, and we actually are changing the CO completion date for the project. We're moving that up from December 31st to July 31st so that it is indeed done by the World Cup. I think the other, mechanically what happens with that is since these projects take a while to develop, it's going to make a lot less projects available, both by the 2029 change, but also moving the completion date up by 6 months.
Thank you. I think those are important changes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Recognize the senator from the 55th.
Will the gentleman yield?
I will.
Thank you, sir. Exactly who benefits from the changes that you have proposed, and who benefited prior to these changes? Can you tell this honorable body who benefits from these changes?
So 2 main reasons why I made these changes in working with the House sponsor and the Senate sponsor. One was to the state benefits, the taxpayers of the state of Georgia. If we wait until 2027 or 2028 for these credits to be claimed, they will cost us 100 cents on the dollar. We are going to earn money by allowing them to move them forward, either 10 cents or 15 cents, depending on the year that they move forward. Secondly, by changing this from being tied to a geographic region within 10 miles of Cabbagetown, we make this statewide. Any other historic tax credit benefactors who may want to forego the 10 or 15 cents on the dollar to get them moved forward, they would be eligible as well. Part of the argument, Senator, if you remember, is that people were concerned with this project being able to jump to the front of the line, and this makes it so that every person in the state who's been pre-approved for credits is on equal footing.
Recognize the senator from the 53rd.
Thank you, Mr. President. With the Senator yield.
Yes, sir.
So your amendment makes this statewide and not just within the 10-mile radius. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So 2026 is the triggering mechanism. What if a person just didn't take advantage of the 2026? Would they still just fall in line with their normal 27, 28, and 29 tax credits?
Yes. So should they either not be complete, or you may have developers who will say, we don't want to pay 10% to be able to pull forward a year because we can go borrow against this money at 5% and arbitrage that. They will still be able to collect, and that's my point. These tax credits get maxed out, and so we will pay these credits out in 27 or 28. If we pay them out in 26, we'll do so at a reduced rate, which is why my interest in this amendment is why I believe this improves the bill.
Do you think people will take advantage of that, Senator?
I certainly believe we know some projects that will. Whether there will be projects outside of the original 10-mile radius or not, I genuinely do not know.
Okay, thank you, sir.
We have no further questions.
Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the well.